So welcome to this session where we are going to discuss about emerging sector which is growing like crazy. And this sector is something which is helping all of us grow, India grow, and also, a lot of investors of this sector grow. So we'll be discussing this sector in deep dive, and I'll also cover one of the small case which you can use to invest in this particular sector. So let's get in and let's jump into the session where we are going to discuss this interesting sector. Awesome. So we are going to discuss about a sector which is called renewable energy. And renewable energy, all of us know it's surrounding us, and it is very important part of our economy as well as the growth strategy for India. And we are going to discuss what all things as an investor you should know in terms of this sector, how it is growing. Okay, so let's get started and jump into different parameters or the factors which are really critical in this particular sector, right? So if you think about the global footprint of carbon, India is fourth largest producer of carbon with 6.65% of exposure. So that means it is very important for us to diversify from coal and these kind of carbon emissions to go into a clean energy format. Okay. Now, close to 74% of the energy demand currently is supplied by coal as well as oil, and we all know that it is a polluting source of energy, and all these sources are non-renewable sources which is creating negative environmental impact, including lot of acid rain, smog, a lot of health issues, congestional issues, and lot of otherwise melting of glaciers and hurricanes and all those things. Now, if you think about the transitioning from this old source of energy to the new source of energy, that is where the renewable energy comes into the play. That this is the cleanest form of energy. India has huge potential, and this is very sustainable versus what you think about coal and oil. Okay, so let's discuss deeper in terms of what all things are there in this particular sector to look into. And let's dive deeper into it. Okay, so let me just share the next slide, which is just talking about four sources of energy. So the first source of this particular energy is solar energy. Okay, solar energy is the first source where we get the light, and that reflects on the chip and it creates energy. Okay, so basically energy harnessed from sun is the first source of energy. The second source of energy is wind power, right? We have a lot of windmills where you have a lot of these big giant wheels which keeps rotating, and then the energy gets converted. The third one is biopower. Okay, this is like energy made of organic material, lot of bio waste which goes on. They undergo a chemical reaction and then it creates biopower. And the fourth one is hydropower, and this is like traditionally much explored source of energy where we have been able to construct dams and then harness the energy of water, the kinetic energy. And there is also one more form which is not yet much explored, which is energy from ocean waves. Okay, so that is also something which is bound to get explored and used in the future. Now, what is the bifurcation in terms of this energy consumption? So if you think about the bifurcation, currently in India, the installed renewable capacity as of August 2021 data is this. So around 45% of this entire consumption or the capacity is solar power. Remaining around 55% is consisting of wind power, which is 39.44 gigawatts or percentage. 10% is your biopower, and 4.79% is small hydropower plants which are there. Okay, so this is like the broad breakup in terms of energy. Now, this is a very interesting slide which we are going to see here. Okay, so if you see from 2016 to 2021, last 6 to 7 years, we have been growing renewable energy capacity, installed capacity by around 15% CAGR. Okay, so from around 45 to 50 gigawatt, we have been able to, take it to like 100 gigawatt. So we have like almost doubled the renewable energy capacity in like last 5 to 6 years. Now the interesting part is this, we are going for a massive expansion in this installed capacity in next few years. So from 100 gigawatt, it is expected to be taken to 450 gigawatt by 2030, that is in next 7 to 8 years. What does it mean is the installed capacity will become 4.5x times in next 8 years if this is executed correctly. And that's what I said, that this sector is really looking promising in terms of the way it is growing and how it is showing the potential to grow. And 60% is expected just alone from solar power. So out of 450 gigawatt, we are going to see approximately 280 gigawatt just coming from the solar power, right? So that throws a lot of opportunities as an investor to look into different sectors and themes where there are companies which can be beneficial either directly or as a proxy or indirectly from this particular sector. So if you are ready to know what all are the companies and what are their plans and some of the investable universe which are listed companies, let's first understand some of the deeper drivers, like why this sector is very lucrative. Okay, and then we'll cover the names also. So the first point in terms of why this sector is growing is because of policy and incentives. The current government has been very focused in terms of expanding energy dependence on the on the renewable energy versus non-renewable, right? Because India is incurring massive export bill in terms of oil. And the government has realized that if you want to curtail this fiscal deficit, we need to depend on some of the non-oil based energy sources, including renewable energy sources. So the government has allocated 19,500 crore to boost manufacturing of all these solar photovoltaic modules so that we can produce these in-house through PLI scheme. And they have also launched renewable energy certificate mechanism where you can actually trade some of these certificates on exchange, and that triggers in your mind that what are the proxy beneficiaries. Something like IEX can be a beneficiary of whatever exchange certificates are getting traded. And we'll also discuss a lot of these kind of companies which can be proxy or beneficiary in this sector. The second is investments. So India attracted investments worth 4.5 lakh crore, that is massive USD $64.2 billion in renewable energy projects between 2014 to 2019. And this is going to accelerate even further the way government is strategizing the policy, and there is 100% FDI permitted in this particular sector versus a lot of other sectors where there are a lot of constraints. Now, third is government plans in terms of Prime Minister initially had set a target of 175 gigawatt of renewable energy capacity by 2030, but now this has been revised, as we saw, to 450 gigawatts. So that means that government is really serious and they want to take it at a much faster pace. Okay, and there is a central electricity authority called CEA which has been launched. The India Renewables dashboard that provides detailed information. So if you want to check it out, you can go to this portal and you can check it out what all things are happening. And there are a lot of acquisitions and mergers that is happening in this particular sector, like Adani Green Energy acquired 100% interest in SB Energy from SoftBank Group. GE Power India approved the acquisition of 50% stake in NTPC GE Power Services. Reliance acquired 40% stake in Wilson Sterling. So a lot of happenings that are there in this particular sector, where a lot of major players like Adani Group and Reliance and GE Power is getting interested into this sector because of the traction which we are seeing. So let's now discuss some of the stocks in this particular sector. So if you are ready for this, just type ready in the comment section. So let's discuss some of the key stocks which are there in this sector. So the first stock which is listed, which is a play in this particular sector, is called Tata Power. And by the way, these are not recommendation. It is just that we are covering the universe in this sector so that you can study them well, and then you can get prepared for the upcoming opportunity if you think you want to bet on this particular sector. So the first one is Tata Power. It is primarily engaged into the business of power generation and distribution, and now they are into a lot of ancillary things also. The company aspires to become a giant in the renewable energy space, and it wants to get their capacity to 15 gigawatts by 2025. And they are also adding 2 gigawatt of solar capacity on annual basis. So they have been growing this segment very, very quickly, and revenues in this particular segment has grown by 300% year on year basis as we speak right now. And they also have a wholly owned subsidiary which is called Tata Power Solar. Now you can connect the dots, right? So the Indian government is very focused. They are going to have 280 gigawatt of solar power generation out of 450 gigawatt in their plants. And this subsidiary of Tata is also moving in that direction. They also have undertaken very large EPC contracts with likes of NTPC, GSEC, CL, and a lot of other such companies. Okay, and the importance of electricity pumps also they have realized, and given the size of the market, Tata Power has also launched branded solar pump named Kshitij. Okay, so that's the first company which is a key beneficiary, which is called Tata Power. And second, you might have already guessed, is Adani Green Energy, right? This stock has been in flavor since some time, and this is a subsidiary of Adani Group. And this is like a wholly owned subsidiary which is specifically into renewable energy space. This company constructs, operates and maintains hybrid power projects, utility scale, grid connected solar power plants, wind plants and solar parks. Okay, so the focus is again on the same lines, and they have almost 14.8 gigawatt of capacity under construction or installed, and they also want to target 25 gigawatt by 2025. Again, they have huge plans just similar to Tata Power. And recently it also acquired SB Energy's solar and wind power portfolio from SoftBank, and this included 4,180 megawatt of solar projects, some wind projects and some hybrid projects. And they want to actually become largest solar company worldwide, and they operate their overall operations in Tamil Nadu, Punjab, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Telangana, Karnataka and so on and so forth. Then there is a company called Sterling Wilson, which is also into the same space. But before we go there, I want to show something very, very interesting. So if somebody wants to take a proxy play of this entire sector, there is an interesting small case which is out there. Okay, so as I said, the sector is growing very rapidly, and it is also expected to grow very rapidly. And if you want to see how this has grown, this particular small case will give you an idea. Okay, so this small case which I'm showing you is specifically designed on green energy, and it is by advisory services called Niveshaay. And we also did a session, if you remember, on Niveshaay on Scuttlebutt Investing with their founder Arvind Kothari. So you can go and check it out, that video also. But what I'm trying to come is, how this sector has performed, and particularly the small case. So if you see, this small case has outperformed the index in a very, very big margin. So since inception, you can see 103 is the amount you might have got out of 100 rupees by investing into equity small cap, but that same 100 rupees has become 213 rupees in just the green energy space. And this is just more than 1 year fund, right? So it has actually given more than 100% kind of return. And if you see just year on year basis, it has generated more than 63% kind of returns, right? So this is what explains how this sector is very, very powerfully growing. And by the way, if you want to subscribe to this small case, there is a special discount code you can use. I've also put a special link, which is my affiliate link. You can check out that link, and by putting this code VM15 you can also get additional 15% discount, just in case you are interested in investing in the small case of this particular sector. Okay, so this is where you can actually use a proxy of this sector, and they don't just have a direct stocks which are direct beneficiary into solar and wind and all these renewable sector, but they also have some of the proxy play. Like say for example, IEX is one of the exchanges which can be termed as a proxy play of renewables. Same way, you can have a EV kind of play which is a clean energy, and you can have a software company like KPIT which can be a proxy play, right? So these kind of small cases actually go deeper and find out some of the proxy plays which are also beneficiary of this particular mega trend. Okay, so that is how this entire small cases are structured, and you can take benefit of this. So let me cover a few more points which are very important in this particular sector, is in terms of Sterling and Wilson. Okay, so Sterling and Wilson is a company into EPC. Okay, so rather than producing power, they are into EPC. They do a lot of these projects and help companies to undertake the mega expansion of these power projects. So they have an order book which is standing right now at 79.3 billion, and two large EPC projects with total capacity of 400 megawatt are being also constructed in the US, and they are commissioning it by end of 22. So they are also apart from solar, foraying into waste to energy projects, and they also recently won one of the project. And in 2021, Reliance New Energy, a wholly owned subsidiary of Reliance Industry, has acquired 40% stake in this particular company, right? So with the backing of Reliance, they can again have a lot of possibilities and they can execute well. Now there is a company called Websol Energy System, which is a leading manufacturer of PV cells and modules, right? So this is like a raw material to produce your solar energy, and these are like proxy plays into this particular sector. And these are actually one of the largest integrated and cell and module manufacturing facilities of around 250 megawatt of capacity. And they are also eligible for a lot of incentives, and they have reported phenomenal growth in last couple of years. Okay, the company has also invested into cutting edge developments to manufacture world class PV cells and solar modules. And interestingly, FIA reduced a massive chunk in the company, so something you might want to watch out for. The next one is Borosil Renewable, right? So this is again one of the entity created from the demerger of Borosil Group, and this is India's only solar glass manufacturer, right? This is like a raw material which goes into application in PV cells and thermal flat plate collectors and greenhouses. And due to Borosil's limitation in its monopolistic position in Indian market, the rest of the country's huge solar glass requirement is met through China and Malaysia imports, right? So once they get more capacity, I think this import can also get substituted. Now, the company also faces a huge risk because in India, there is no import duty for import of solar glass. And there have been a lot of changes on the policy front which you can check out, and slowly government is realizing that they need to also put some import duty. So there is a 21% import duty for the glasses imported from China, but they are again routing and importing through different other channels. But this is a very, very interesting space all of you should check out for. There are a few more stocks which you can also study deeper. One is JSW Energy, then there is Inox Energy, we have Suzlon Energy, we have Adani Power, we have Grita Renewable Energy. A lot of these interesting stocks are worth studying because the overall sector has huge growth potential. So hope this video was useful, and hope you got a lot of insights. I've just covered the broad overview of this entire sector. If you are not yet subscribed to this channel, please hit the subscribe button so that you get a lot of notification, and hope to do a lot of similar videos in future. And if you have yet not checked out the video which I mentioned of Scuttlebutt Investing, please do check out. It is with Arvind Kothari, and there we have also covered a lot of other interesting ideas. And I will also place the link, special link which I mentioned of the small case. And don't forget to put the code VM15 if you want to get the discount on this particular small case, right? So thank you so much again for being with me and being till the end. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.